Well, today I've got a follow-up topic on this because not only have I seen the letters show up, I've now seen fake emails. This is even worse. It's even worse than those letters that show up. This looks like it's coming right from my domain registrar. It uses their logo. It uses the same kind of format that their emails look like. It's very deceptive, except it's not from them. Now, let me show All right, so the first thing that I want to do before bringing up I guess it's not the first thing, we've done a lot of other things. The next thing I want to do is do a little follow-up to that scam video where I'm warning you about domain name scams. I've got some more information on it. So on this episode 41, we talked about that domain name renewal and listing scam. By the way, this Geek Bytes episode is become the biggest, most watched video out of all of my entire channel. Out of every video I've ever done on any platform, this is the one that's getting the most attention. As of this recording, there's almost 800 views on this video. It blew me away that it got that kind of attention, but I'm very excited because I want everybody to know this information. And if you haven't yet seen, please go back and watch this video and share it with someone else. We're almost at 800 views. And I know that if you just go watch that video right now, it's going to bump it right over 800 views. And share that with someone, would you? Because I need them to know about this information. This is about the letters that are showing up in the mail that look like legitimate domain name renewals. Well, today I've got a follow-up topic on this because not only have I seen the letters show up, I've now seen fake emails. This is even worse. It's even worse than those letters that show up. This looks like it's coming right from my domain registrar. It uses their logo. It uses the same kind of format that their emails look like. It's very deceptive, except it's not from them. And let me show you a couple ways that you can find out. The first way that you can see is right up here at the top where it shows who the email is from. If you look at the email and you pay attention to the domain name that email is coming from, that's not their domain name. That's not the real company. That's something totally different. They've made up their own domain name to try to trick you into thinking that this is a legitimate email. So the first thing that you look at is who the email is from. Chances are you're going to catch the mistake right there. And here's the thing you should always do, no matter what email you're getting, no matter what you're clicking on. I want you to pay attention to this. When you move your cursor over the button, right here it says Renew Now, move your cursor over this. This is known as hovering your cursor over it, but don't click it yet. Just move the cursor over. You're going to watch the arrow symbol change into the finger symbol when it recognizes that it's got something it can click on, but don't click it yet. And instead, look in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen when your mouse is hovered over this button. Because when you hover over a link, your computer is going to automatically tell you in the corner where you're about to go. Where does that link go to? So that's the next thing I want you to look at. Hover your cursor and then look at where that link is going and answer the question, where is this going to go when I click on it? Because again, chances are it's not going to have your domain name provider there. It's not going to be their real website. They're trying to trick you. They're going to use some other website. So if you're expecting an email from domainregistrar.com, you might notice that the email is from a different domain. And when you hover over this button, it's got even a different domain name. If you're expecting it to say GoDaddy or Google or DreamHost, that's mine, or Gilbert Studios, if I'm sending you an email, right? If you're expecting that and then you hover your cursor and then you look at the link, it's going to say something different. It's going to say, this is really GoDaddy.com. It absolutely is. This is for sure Gilbert Studios. And chances are they're doing something with the domain name. They're switching letters. They're adding a couple letters in. This one up here, it should be from dreamhost.com. It's from dwstaff.com. So they registered another domain name called dwstaff.com. If when we talk about it, when we have this conversation, people say to me, "Oh, I feel really stupid. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even see that." You're not supposed to notice it. They're bargaining, they're preying on your ignorance. They're betting, that's the word. They're betting that you're not going to notice. They're betting that it looks kind of similar, close enough. My caution to you is look where it's going to go when you're hovering your mouse cursor over this button. Just look at your screen and your computer's going to tell you where you're about to go when you click that button. And if you see a bunch of gobbledygook popping up, if it doesn't say the exact domain name that you're expecting it to say, don't click it. One of the safest things that you can do when you're going to any website, it could be for your bank, it could be for your investment portfolio. I don't know. Be suspicious of emails that you get these days. And it's much, much safer if you go to the browser, if you open up a brand new tab, and if you type right into the thing, the place you want to go. Chase Bank, Bank of America, mycreditunion.com, right? TD Ameritrade. Go to the website specifically. GoDaddy. Go to the website specifically by typing on it and then going to it directly. Don't click the button. If you're not sure, don't click the button, because that button could take you to a different website. It could even look like the same website. It could even look like the real website. But when you look at that address bar up at the top, it's not the real website. They've done something real tricky with the domain name, and they've added some letters and a dash, and it's got baloney in it. And I want you to avoid that mess. And Ask a Web Geek member Barry sent me another example that shows this. Check this out. This is even another level of tricky. Remember how I was saying they can change that domain name, add some letters, add a character, dash something or other, and it's a completely different domain name? He sent me this really great example. Do you see the A right here in May Bank? And it's happening right here too in Citibank. Do you see how this A character looks different than this A character? Man, I'm telling you, they're getting really sneaky with this. These are two different websites. These are two different domain names. They look the same, but they're not. What's happening is this first one, this is the real one. This is the real Citibank.com. But the second one, this is not an A character. It's from the Cyrillic alphabet. In other words, it's the A from the Russian alphabet. It's a different character. To the computer, it's a completely different character. It might as well be a Z. It might as well be a Q, right? The computer sees it as a completely different domain name, a completely different website. It's not Citibank, okay? But it, to us visually, looks like an A, and if you're not paying attention or you're moving really fast, it looks legitimate. You could click that link and you could find yourself on the wrong thing. And here's the danger. You go to the hacker's website, you may get a page that says log into your bank account right here. Well, guess what happens if you try to put in your username and your password? You've just given them your username and password. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to go right over to Citibank.com, the real one, and they're going to use your username and password, log into your bank account, and do terrible, terrible things to you. So this is the thing I want you to avoid today. I want you to pay real special attention to the links you're clicking on, to the buttons that you're clicking on, to the emails that you're getting, and just be aware of these tricks. Tricky, tricky, tricky people. Jump into our Facebook group if you've got some examples of this. AskAWebGeek.com. We'll have a link back to our Facebook group. I'd love you to share some more examples of things that you're seeing like this in emails or renewal letters or banking statements. Take a screenshot and let us know what it looks like, just like Barry did here. So special thanks to Barry for sending this in. This is the thing I want you to avoid. I use those for thumbnails. Maybe you do something totally ridiculous too for your thumbnails. And that was our program today. Woo! Well, how'd we do? That was my first podcast episode that I've recorded in like a year, over a year. And had a couple hiccups along the way. And who knows how it's going to turn out with the audio and the video. And all of that will come later on Saturday when I edit the whole thing together. And then it'll be interesting to see which segments I pull out for some new Geek Bytes episode. So once again, if you haven't yet, check out our YouTube channel and check out all the episodes that have been there. Leave me a comment, invite someone else to join the group here. There should be a button you can invite people directly to, invite your friends and family, especially those in small business. And we look forward to seeing you next time. The internet's a jungle. Roar!